Welcome, everybody, to the Monday Night Call. And back by popular demand is Jess Fuller. And Jess is a superstar in our business. She's an NMD, and she is all about getting shit done. And like, there's been lots of ups and downs in this business. Anyone that tells you that it's just all like this is probably selling you a a packet of something. And Jess has been no different. She's had ups and downs, and she's had some amazing lessons that have come recently from the from conference. And if you weren't at conference, well, maybe next time you might want to be there. But Jess, look, I just can't wait to hear this knowledge that you're going to share, and yeah, take it away.
Awesome. Hello. Thanks for having me back. Yeah, and if you weren't at conference, you totally missed out. It was absolutely amazing. I know there was a bunch of early bird early bird tickets are up now, but there was like early bird tickets. So you just never know if you hit your upliner up, there may be some of those early bird tickets floating around out there. So definitely ask away. So yeah, I wanted to, I guess, jump on and share some lessons that have come about since conference or at conference. And, you know, I want to start off right there. And I like, thank you so much for the introduction, but I want to sort of take like that all down a peg or two, because sometimes and actually a lot of the time, people can come into the business and definitely put other people that are at different levels, that are earning a different income, that are further down the road, because that's all it is. They are just further down the road on a pedestal. And that is, I can tell you, the worst thing that you can do, because we are all we're all in this together. We all started at the same point, and anyone that has what I guess you could say success or whatever that you want to achieve in the business, they're just further down the road, and that's all you need to know. Okay, so just keep going down the road. That's basically it. We can end the call. No. So I'll just share a little bit of my journey with the company. I joined Juice Plus back in 2014, at the end of 2014, and we just had an incredible first year in business. We went through to NMD. We went to our first conference, which was because this is like conference theme. Our first conference was Hamilton Island. So we were like 4 or 5 months into the business. I brought 2 girls with me, and one of them is still with me. Like, you know, we still work together now, and we sat there and were like, next year we're going to be NMD. We're going to walk the stage as NMD next year. And that was Melbourne conference in 2016. Yes, 2016. And we did that. You know, it was, we both went NMD within a few months of each other, and we walked the stage as NMD. It's like, hallelujah, we made it. We did it. It's job done. And that's not really the case. Okay. So we did that. We had an incredible first year. 18 months, 2 years. We went NMD. Then we went as a team, we went, 24 club, 39 club, 50 club, 60 club. And we're like, whoa, 75 club is right there on the horizon. And I think we were 2.5 years in, something like that. And from there, we never ticked over that 75 club. Okay, and now I can tell you we're approaching our 5th year in November, at the end of this year. The business, the team halved. Okay, so I'm just getting real here with you guys, but it's okay. This isn't to scare anybody. This is to inspire and impact, and hopefully help you guys, because you can't get out of this stuff. You can't get out of the challenges that come along with this business. You can't, there's no like shortcut. So we halved. I'm like, whoo, like, oh, that was like hard. Then we halved again. And I was like, whoa, like, what is going on here? And it was just, yeah, like, I want to be real with you guys. Okay. So it was just, I mean, there's no like one thing. There was no one thing that contributed to what happened in my business or your business or someone else's business. It's just all these things that are happening, and it's how we are responding to them. So I want to just ask you guys a question. You can put it in the chat here. You know, first of all, show of hands, who's ever been in a position where they're wishing and hoping that their business was in a better place, or that they were further along in their business? Like, hands up if you got your video on. Now, what I want you guys to do in the chat is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your head at? Where's your head at in terms of your mindset around this business? Because, you know, you can love the products. You can be great, you know, you can be a great ambassador around like taking the products. But where is your head at in how you feel around your mindset around this business? Okay, so that, I just want you guys, and guys, I'm going to be real with you. So like, let's be real with each other, because there's no point, you know, going, I'm an 8 or a 10 or a, you know, 100 out of 10, but then going and looking in the mirror and going, I can't do this business. So where is your head at? Okay, around this business. So lots of things were going on, but the truth is my head was not a 10 out of 10. It was just like, it felt like it was just getting worse and worse, and I was treading water and I was treading water and I was treading water. So I was at conference, and I went into conference, like, you know, this is the thing, you don't expect this. You don't think you're going to hear this from NMDs that have, you know, done this in business. But I went into conference, my head was at a 1 or a 2 or a 3. Like, I was literally like, what is this going to do? So is that like a shock? Everyone's like, oh my God, like, why is she on the call? Okay. So that, and I'm being real because it was such an enlightening experience at conference. I'm getting emotional. I've got bugs in my eyes. I don't know. No, I will not cry. Okay. So the title of this, the training was like, don't be a little bitch. I can swear on this, right? So I was at conference, and I was at my leaders. We had the NMD meeting, like the leadership meeting on the Thursday. And I was talking to Laura, and this was when I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know what I'm going to get out of the conference this year. Like, I was that person. I was that person. I'm there to help people. I'm there to inspire people, but I'm like, no one can inspire me right now. So I was talking to Lauren, and I was just moaning, Lauren Slocum, and I was like, Lauren, and this is the biggest lesson I had. Lauren, I worked my ass off for like 2 years. No days off, like, worked my ass off. Events all the time, most days, more days than I did events, more days than I didn't. I've recruited I don't know how many people. I've always brought on customers. I've worked so hard. And it was like, I did this for 2 years and I've never stopped working in the business, guys. Like, I'm not saying I've never just like, but I know that I didn't work like I worked in those first 2 years. So I was like, 2 years, 2 years, Lauren. And she just sits back and she she was there and she's like leans back against the wall and this look, and we're friends, like, she can do this to me. And she was like, 2 years, that's it? And I was like, yeah, 2 years, 2 whole years, Lauren. And she's like, you only worked for 2 years? And if you know her, you can imagine her saying that. Who can imagine her actually saying that in that way? She was like dead serious. And I was like my internal dialogue was, Jess, you little bitch. You are being a little bitch. And I could not believe it, because I knew that this is not a 2-year career. This is a 4, 5, 6, 10, whatever. But it's not 2 years. And that was a very defining moment for me, because somewhere along the way, I'd latched onto a story that I'd worked hard enough and that I had done enough. And it doesn't matter what you do. I'm not saying that you need to do that. I'm not saying that you need to work like that. But I was moaning and complaining about results that I didn't get for work that I hadn't continued doing. Anyone do that? Is anyone like, oh my God, I worked so hard this week. I just worked every day this week. And we just like piss and moan about it. It's not like, this is just about consistency. So it's not saying you need to work like a dog. It's just like, get real about the results that you want and the work that you're prepared to do. So when I was like, oh yeah, I didn't work at the level that I worked for those first few years. And the truth is, I was compensated for a really long time for the work that I'd done a long time ago. Isn't that that's a beautiful thing about this industry? Like, I'm definitely grateful for that, So somewhere along the line, and this is the thing around like your mindset. Oh, hang on. Yes, darling. I'm sorry. It's okay. Oh, darling, I'll come out soon, okay, baby? Oh no, we've got school holiday cubbies, and big brother doesn't want to sleep in the cubby. It's all very, very dramatic here. Okay, so the mindset. Somewhere along the way, I latched onto a story that this was too hard. I can't do this. I'm not cut out for this. I can't measure up to other people in this business. Does anyone have those thoughts that come up? 3. I think 3 people out of 40. And I think, the conference and what it gave me was exactly what it's designed to. And it was the inspiration to remember what you're great at, remember how capable you are, to show you what is possible. And, I walked out and I was like, wait up, I am so badass at this business. I am so amazing. I can do whatever I set my mind to, and anyone here can. Okay, so that, and what it is was, you know, I was latching onto this story that just got a lot of momentum. It got a lot of momentum. And if you're in a pity party right now around, I can't, it's hard, I can't be like that, it is as simple as, you know, changing that story and turning it around. So I consciously, particularly through conference and after conference, consciously just been telling myself the different story. So as soon as that negative, like, you know, crazy person comes up, like, I can't, I just flipped it and I literally just spoke words that were opposite to that story. And the more that I did that, the more I started remembering the greatness that I had just pushed down, you know, that I had kind of suppressed for a little while. And I'll be honest, like, I shrunk away. Who's done that? Who has done that? Who's felt themselves? And it might not be in this setting, but it might be in somewhere else where you get to a certain point and I can't remember the book. Is it The Big Leap? The Upper Limit, like the glass ceiling, where you get to a point and you can't see yourself getting any further. So, you know, for me, I shrink, and I definitely did that. And conference for me was just like, she's back, baby. That was me. That was how I felt. I just had this like overwhelming feeling of, I've totally got this. And I've been telling myself a really shitty story. And another thing that I want to mention, guys, is, and I think it's important because it kind of can, I mean, like, you're all in here, everyone in here, like, automatically I would put you in a category of a high achiever. Like, am I right? Anyone who's on this call probably is like, they can go, yep. You want to succeed. You may or may not, you know, criticize yourself more than probably anybody out there. Like, you know where it's at. So for the high achievers out there, I want to say, most people, that's true. I want to say this: your worth, okay, is not based on your business. Your business does not determine your worth. I don't care how you say it, whatever. Your business does not determine your worth. Okay, so if you feel like, oh, I should be at a certain point, I would like to be at a certain point, that's all well and good, but please make sure that you are not in the same sentence judging yourself as lesser than somebody else, or lesser than what you think is, you know, ideal, or however you want to put it. It doesn't. That's like that will cripple you. And I would like to also, you know, share around, how do I put it? I don't think there is anybody that, like, there's so many variables in this business that, first of all, does anyone compare to someone else, or, you know, in the business, sideline, upline, downline, whatever? Like, I don't think there's a way there's too many variables to go, like, someone is better at this business than somebody else. So you can kind of remove that from the vocabulary. There is no better. There's no better. Sorry, my phone is ringing. I would bring it down to a couple of things. Because everyone's got different, because this is the thing. You could, if you want to base it on one thing, that's cool. You can kind of line everybody up. That's great. There's a number one. There's a number two. But there's so much more than that. There's parents that are working around children. There's shift workers. There's, people working in a full-time job. There's students that don't even they're not after the six-figure income, the full-time income, or, they're supplementing. So there's so many different variables. So to say that anybody is better, I think is ridiculous. So this is what I would boil it down to. And, because your success is your success, your lane, your race. It's all about what you're doing here, why you're here. So that's all that matters. So I think it boils down to two things. To go and achieve, anyone can go and do it. They've got to have these things though, right? So the first is courage. Okay, you've got to have courage. Now that could be for a lot of things, but I'm just going to, that's in a nutshell. So much of this boils down to courage. So you can have the most skilled person in the world, and then someone else who's not as skilled but has balls to go out and learn and talk to people and keep moving people through those levels of influence. That courage is that person's going to actually achieve what they set out to achieve, versus the person that's got all the skills that is too too in their head and shy to actually go and talk to people. Courage is where it's at, because every single thing, would you agree, is learnable can be learned learnable in this business. You can learn everything. You don't need any magic superpowers. Okay, so courage is the first thing that is going to set you apart. Not that we're, there's no comparison here, but that's what's going to set you apart from the you that is going to achieve what you set out to, and the you that isn't. So the next thing, and these are the two things that I boil it down to based on my almost 5 years. It's not, I'm not an expert here. The next is bounce back. What's your bounce back? Because if you've got these two things, you are good to go. You have got it all. The bounce back is when you get knocked down, when you go through your pity parties, when you can't stand looking at Juice Plus for another day, when you're going into a conference at a 1 or 2 mindset, but there is something that is just keeping you there. It's your bounce back. How are you going to how are you going to bounce back, and how fast are you going to bounce back? Okay, so those two things I think are kind of they're going to keep propelling you forward. If you can always just think of those things, you're going to have the down moments, you're going to have the disappointments. It's not, this is business. It's not business without those things. So, I've always taught this, and it's just about embracing it. Those challenges that come up. I've just, at conference, the vulnerability of the speakers, that was actually, and this is why I'm being real with you guys, is that helped me so much, because I felt really alone. Anyone think that they're going through, raise a show of hands, anyone think that when they go through things that it's just them and that no one else possibly could understand, and no one has it as bad as you? You are going through the worst and no one could understand. We all think our shit's worse than the other person's, but it's not. Like, we've all just got shit. It's just, you know. So when I was that person, I was like, no one's got it. No one understands. And Shani was so like real up on stage, you know, going through her loser moments. And I was like, oh my God, you know, and that was helpful for me, because I just, you know, I realized so many of us could resonate. And I think the cool thing about this community, this business, this profession is that we are all in this together, and you belong, whether you do a little bit, whether you do a lot, whether you're up shit creek telling yourself all these shitty stories like I was, or you're on cloud nine and like winning everything. It doesn't matter. We're all human. Okay, so none of us are perfect. So you're gonna have these challenges. So just deal with that. That's a hot tip right there. Okay, what else have I got here? So that was like really what I wanted to cover, Joel. Like, I could open it up for questions. I guess I wanted to be real with you guys about my journey. I wanted to take it down a peg or two. I know people can look at NMDs and, you know, put people on pedestals and things like that, and that is the last thing that I think is helpful. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, or Joel, did you have anything you wanted me to add to that?
That has been hugely helpful, because like when we joined the business 3 and a bit years ago, yeah, you guys were like untouchable. It was like ridiculous. Like, we saw you and like one or two others, and it was just like rock star level up here. And like, I still see the same now. I just see like this is amazing. This has been so helpful. But so when you say, like, so let's picture you were going along, you were like 75 club Millie. I was actually on the call when you got Linda on the call, and she was like, going for 100 club. I was like, it's happening. We even made some crazy hashtag up. I can't remember. I was hashtagging it everywhere. I was like, little me, just
that's
doing
amazing.
my bit. And
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like, so you're going along, like, what thoughts appeared? Like, how did the thoughts appear in your head, and how would you notice them now, and how would you combat them now?
Fucking ripcord. That's what it was.
That was it.
I remember that call, and I'm going to be real again. I remember that call, and we were going for 75 club, and I remember Linda just going, no, like 100 club. It's 100 club. And I remember that right then and there, I was like, it's not 100 club. So again, like, this is your race, like your lane, and you need to grow into, you know, and I don't say it's like, I know there's a phrase that gets spoken about a lot in this business, and it's, you need to turn into who you need to be to get to the next level. You need to change, you need to turn into someone new. It's, in my mind, we need to tune into who we already are. We need to tune into the next level. It's not turning, it's not changing, but we need to give ourselves that grace. We need to know that that version of us is already there. It's there in waiting. But what we need to do is tune into that. No one is going to do that for you. No one is going to force you or trick you into believing that until you are there. You need to do that. You need to tune into that. And I remember that moment so clearly, Joel. And it was, nope, that is not going to happen. That is not going to happen back then. Like, the growth of the team was out of control. Like, it was out of control. It'd be different now. But isn't that the reason why all this has happened? It's not until you can look at it and go, well, isn't this how it was always meant to be? Cultivating a team of people that are out there creating businesses that are aligned with who they are. They're out there with, passion and purpose, and they're being cause driven, and they're enjoying what they do. We were out of control back then. It was out of control. And this was always, and Cheryl was amazing when Lauren dragged me over, after she'd like throat punched me. She's dragged me over and she's like, and Cheryl was just like, this happens. And she was so calm about it. She's like, this happens. It's just like, just what sticks. Like, just focus on that. We'll go back to the fundamentals. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose control. Just go back to what worked, and you're always going to be moving forward. So definitely, guys, it's that tuning into who you already are. There is already that version of you, but you got to believe it. Like, now it's a totally different game. It's a long game now. Me, back then, it was just like, got to do this, got to do this, got to win, got to win, got to win. Like, in my brain, it was like just chaos. Whereas now it's just so different. It's such a different feel. And it's definitely about nurturing a team for a long game impact.
So if you were to say, like, what feeling are you going for in your team? What's the feeling?
I don't know if any of the team are on, but like, what do we feel? There's definitely a huge connection in the team. Conference definitely like highlights that. There is just this sense of belonging, which, I want everyone. Too many people in the past have like walked away. They've left the team. And I believe a huge portion of that is out of shame of not living up to expectations or something. And that is heartbreaking. So it's very, I'm really mindful of that.
That's amazing. So what, like a question that came up here before, I'm loving what your team's saying, like friendship, you're not on your own, love, commitment, support. These are all like powerful words that really describe like like an amazing safe place to be. So it's fantastic. But like, could you share some of your bounce back tips? That was one of the questions in the chat.
just like, get your head out of your ass, basically. like, I'm just gonna be real. Like, you got to. This is like, okay, write this down. All suffering is obsessive, self-centric thinking. There is no exception. All suffering is obsessive, self-centric thinking. So I can guarantee you're suffering. It's because you're like obsessing about yourself. So that's what I mean by getting your head out of your ass and actually zooming out and looking around. And like, you can't help people, you can't impact people, you can't inspire people and ultimately influence anybody when your head is up your ass focused on you. Is that a good answer? Like, I don't know.
It's certainly your answer. That's great. No, I love it.
Like, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, you got to zoom out. You got to know this isn't all about you. Yes, we're all here to improve our lives and, you know, all of that stuff. It's all different for everybody. But when you get obsessed about it and you get obsessed about how you're feeling and your emotions and, you know, like, oh my God, poor me. No, like the whole, like, no one understands. No one has it like this bad. Like, when you're talking like that, like, you're full of shit because, you know, we're so blessed. We've got so many amazing things to be grateful for. And isn't it funny, you know, like, business has got, you know, when business was going on its decline, there was so many incredible, you know, there's so many incredible things to be grateful for. There's all these other areas of your life, remember? Yet one goes to shit and you're like, my life's fucked. Is that anyone or is it just me? Because that was just me. Maybe it was just me. But, you know, like, if that rings a bell with anybody and they're like, oh yeah, I think she's been watching me, then maybe take that on board and get grateful with what's going on outside of like work for you to be grateful for. And I mean, you know, if you're on a Zoom call, that's a cool thing because you got technology, you got Wi-Fi, you got a community. Like, there's so many things, and I think so much goes unnoticed when we're obsessive with our head up our ass. There we go. Back to that.
Awesome. I think maybe like people have an unrealistic expectation that things will always go smoothly
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And like, I wonder what this downfall has created for you in the future. Like, what sort of a leader you're going to be. Like, I always remember, like, you see Eric Worre getting on stage and he's talking to these mega multi-million-dollar earners and he's like, hope you realise you're only at 10% of your potential. It's only the beginning, and they could have been in the industry for 30 years. They could have been in for so long. And you see stuff like that and I'm like, long game, like,
Oh yeah.
what's it going to look like, you know? So
Yeah. I mean, this really hit me. I can't even remember. I think it might have been Celine. You know, like, success is the worst teacher. You have success, and you're a leader when there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of momentum and everything's going great. That doesn't determine whether you're a good leader or not. Leaders are made in the dips. Leaders are made in the decline. Leaders are made when everything goes to shit. Because the people that can't stay in the game, then, you know, it's like, if you want to lead, you got to be prepared to be the last one standing. You know, and I spoke to, when I was in Bali, with Susie Mitchell, and this just hit home for me so much because she said, you know, you only need a handful of people in this business, or this profession, should I say, that are by your side through it all. And I mean, like, that just got me, because I know I've got that. And it's those people, and everyone has those people around them that, and you know, whether it's, and this is just something to think about in life, when everything goes to shit, and you know, I've got those people and these girls, and I just love them so much. And when people can be just dropping and like leaving and all this, like, just, it was just so chaotic, that they're there just like, what next? And that is something to be really grateful for, you know. But even, guys, if it's just you and you are on this call, and it's like, well, I don't have a, you know, I don't have a big team, and I don't have these people yet that you talk of. Like, be that person for yourself. Because if you can be that person for yourself, then when everything, you know, when shit hits the fan, you're having a bad day, and you are there for yourself, and you are there in the bad times, then that is all you need. Oh, I'm big on the screen. So yeah, that's I don't know where I am now. Yeah, so that just hit me when she said that you only need a handful of people, and I know that I'm blessed to have that. What are your daily routines? Well, I've moved at the moment. Like, I'm just saying, because a bit of a pre-frame. I've moved, and I'm actually getting into a routine back into my fitness, because I hadn't been. I kind of, another story was like, I'm busy and I hadn't gotten back into the gym. Finally, I've joined the gym. So my day is starting to flow a bit better, because who here can give themselves all day and still go, oh my God, I should have done way more. And you should all over yourself at the end of the day. Yeah, that's what I was like. I felt like I had all this time. I was just like, not really getting much done at all. Like, it was crazy. So definitely, like, chunking your day, like, get your exercise done if that's your thing, like making sure that you fill your day with the things that are important. Okay. And then you're more likely to get more done in shorter, like, snippets of time. Rather than give yourself, you know, 6-7 hours, like if you're at home, or if it's in the evening, and you know, you sit down and go, I've got to work from like 5 o'clock until like tomorrow, you know. Oh, are you going to bed, darling?
No, no,
Sorry.
I want.
Hang on, I'm just on this still.
I'm making a sleep with me, but he's not sleep over there.
Sorry. Outside, please, darling.
I want you to come out.
I will, darling. Sorry, guys. So yeah, so put the things that are important that you need to get done. If it's in the afternoon, so that you can, you're going to feel more inclined to really get into doing what you need to do. So DMO, guys, and maybe in a particular order, but no time like preference. New conversations. Okay. You know, like, if you're not starting the new conversations, and that could be actually inviting people to an event, or like a opportunity group, or watching a link. It could be starting a new conversation. Like, whatever it is, guys, just get consistent. Like, it might be you start 5 new conversations, and then you share the opportunity with 3 people. Okay. So, if it's helpful to get a number around it, do it. You know, it might be adding a certain amount of people on Facebook, things like that. So new conversations, And follow-ups, okay, making sure that like the fortune is in the follow-up, okay, because if you don't follow up, they will end up on someone else's team. Okay, where's Bree? Is Bree on? Bree was on last week. Bree is like just insane at following up. Fortune is in the follow-up. Like people don't join you because you told them once what you do. Okay, like if you're not following up 7 times in some way, and I'm not saying like, do you want to join yet? 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 Do you want to join now? Is that 7? I don't know. It's different exposures. They've got to see what you're up to from different angles, different exposures, until remember, like, and I think I talked about this on the last call, it's moving people through those levels of influence from a stranger through to having major or minor influence. And they go from a stranger to an acquaintance to a friend, you know, to a minor influence and major influence. And like going back to those 2 things that, no, darling, no. Going back to those 2 things, courage, like, do you have the courage to move people through those levels of influence? And that's what's gonna like make the difference. It's how you're doing that. How are you moving people from a stranger? Like, what do you mean? Like, I post on my Facebook there, I've never talked to them in my life. What do you mean they won't join my team? Okay, that's because they're a stranger. And if you're just posting the same stuff, so you've got to learn that. You've got to go and like, how do I need to impact these people more? How do I inspire them more? Because if you're not doing either of those 2 things, you can just like, they're never going to join. If they do, it's going to be a fluke. Do it again tomorrow. But it's going to be like pure luck. You need to know where you're at with people. So the follow-ups, you know, it's always that exposure. Power hour in personal development, guys, doesn't matter, it doesn't be an hour, I don't care, but just learning something. And preferably, you know, you're always going to be learning stuff through Juice Plus, that's cool, but working on yourself and your mind, external to the profession as well, like just, you know, 15 minutes here on Juice Plus, 15 minutes over here reading another book, like around, you know, another personal development book or something like that. So yeah, and then customers and following up customers, following up with team. Okay, so having the customer and team towards the later part of the day, and making sure that you do those new conversations and the follow-ups, make sure that you get them done. So that's it. Yeah, you followed up like a beast. And Joel, you really do that, actually. I can vouch for that because you've had to follow me up on stuff. So I'm like, oh yeah, like that's good, because I would have forgot. So, I mean, and this is the thing, guys, no one's sitting there like, I don't know why, but this is the truth. It still blows me away. But can you believe that there's people out there that don't think about Juice Plus all day? Like, I don't even, like, it blows my mind. So it's like, what do you mean you haven't had time to watch my link? What do you mean you haven't gotten onto the website and ordered yet? Like, I don't understand this. You know, that's true though. There's people out there, believe it or not, that aren't like us. So if you've sent your link and people have forgotten, guess what? They don't hate your guts. Like, They don't just like, they're not trying to avoid you. Most of the time, they're probably just not thinking about it. So you got to be like Joel and follow up like a beast, you know? And it doesn't need to be annoying. You know, it doesn't need to be annoying. It can be as, you know, like I've got a great one around anyone send like a website for people that are allergic to the phone? Anyone send their website to get an order? It's more and more common now. Like people are just like, I don't want to talk on the phone. Like what? So sometimes people want the website. So you're sending them the website. Now, most people, who knows that the conversion of people actually putting their order in is much lower if you send them where they have to actually put their credit card number in, you know. And look at yourselves. Like, don't tell me you haven't added to cart and then not checked out. Like, everyone's done it. Everyone's done that. So they do it too. They're like, oh, actually, no, I could really just like maybe go and not spend that money and I'll go do, and I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it for today. So understand that. So basically, I just frame it. Okay. So I will leave a voice note and be like, hey, I haven't actually seen the order come through. No, first of all, I'll go, hey, like, just making sure you got all that done, because if you got any questions, just let me know. I can help you out. Then I'm going to assume that they're going to do it. However, they're going to think I'm assuming that they're going to do it. However, I know that they're not. Okay. Now, most people are going to be just like, oh, they hate my guts. I can't message them anymore. I've already done it. I can't follow up now. You know, they don't want it. They're not going to talk to me anymore. Done. So then just send another one. Hey, I actually have just been on my back office and I haven't seen your order come through. And I know you said you wanted this and this, but I haven't seen it come through. And I don't want it to have been missed. And I just wanted to make sure that it's all done, you know. So basically what you're doing is making them think that there might be a glitch in the system. Like you think there's a glitch in the system because you're dead set certain that their order's there. But something's gone wrong and can you just help me out? Those two follow-ups, if you've got anybody, and I mean it might be a bit weird like if you've left it, you know, 3 years or something, but I'm just saying, like, from here, okay, from here, those two, if you're a website sender, that'll change the game around you getting those orders done and closed.
Outstanding. Who has another question? Anyone? Outstanding.
Who are
Someone
these
come through?
Who are these people? What do you mean that don't revolve, like their life doesn't revolve around Juice Plus? Like,
I don't know who those people are, but they don't.
I know.
They frighten me.
I know. It's like, what do they do with their life?
I don't know.
I feel sorry for them.
Amazing. Sensational. Well, it's funny, like one of those people that started, they wouldn't get on the phone. They just started messaging me because I was being silly on Instagram stories. And I shared my website because they didn't want to talk. They went in and they bought. And today they became a team member all in the space of like a fortnight.
Amazing.
I kept on following up and just being kind. I didn't make it about Juice Plus. I didn't make it deal hungry. I just made it about giving a shit about their day, because who does that?
Yeah.
No one does that these days. Like who actually outside of Juice Plus community gets told they're amazing or gets cheered on? It just doesn't happen. And if you do that for people, they're just going to like gravitate towards you. That's what I find. And it works. I don't know if that's a specific DMO.
Yeah. It's
Like,
just make that as part of your follow-up. Like how you talk to people is like everything. How do you make them feel? And, you know, if we go back to like that, you know, switching the mindset and going like, no, like I am abundant, like I am capable, I am badass. You know, that shift, like just switching that story but from I can't to fuck yeah, I can, you become magnetic. That's the truth. So change the story and the conversations, and the people will just start coming to you because that's what you're putting out there. If you've got this internal dialogue of I can't, I can guarantee you are repelling people. That's it. That's why your business isn't where you want it to be. It's because you are repelling people because of that energy that you're putting out there. So it's just you got to have that courage to bounce back and change the story.
and I just want to give a little tip that I used when I didn't have that amount of belief in myself being able to do this business. I borrowed Christine because she had like a 10 out of 10 belief. I borrowed Bex. I borrowed anyone. So they're all walking around going, oh, why am I only feeling like a 7? It's because I stole 3 off them. You know, because I was like, well, they're smart people. They can't be wrong. Like all these really smart, successful people can't be wrong. I'm just going to borrow this belief and I'm going to get out there and do it. And that's how you build your belief, and that's how you build courage, because you're just like, wow, look at these people. Like, you know, like look at Christine dancing on the stage. Like if she can do that, I can just reach out to someone. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like,
poor Drummo. I made when she was at the Gold Coast, I made Drummo drive all the way to like where we were, which is like an hour and a half from where she is, to like run like my first few events. Remember, Drummo? Like first few like launch events. And that's what we did back then, guys. We did like actual events out in the field. Yeah, we ran boot camps and like wellness events and mindset events, and yeah, and it's that, you know, she had this confidence already about this business. Whereas I was like, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. But like, you know, so you've got to get the people, you got to get around the people, and it rubs off, you know, it rubs off on you. So again, like this, another call really, but who are you hanging out with? Like, who are you around? Because if you're around the people that are all telling themselves the same story of I can't, if your group, if your circle, if your peers, if your sidelines, who are you talking to? Because if those people are all in the same story as you, hello, that's your reality. There's some food for thought.
it is. And you know what? Hey, we're up here, Jess, and then like Christine went enough and I'm just moving.
Oh.
I'm going to New South Wales. Bugger these guys. She's like, she must want to improve her peer group. So, oh, look, it's all right. One final question. Well, I've got 2.
All right.
How do you combat the I'll get back to you when I've made my mind up comment? How do you reopen the conversation again?
I'll get back to you when you've made. Oh, look, well, okay, I was on a call. I don't even know if she's on the call tonight, but yeah, like we got a new girl started the other day, and you know, it's just really doing that due diligence. Like you've got a responsibility to help people see this opportunity or these products. Like it's your job to help them see the value in what we've got. You don't need to be the expert. You just got to be able to ask the questions that help them get to that place of making their mind up. Like it doesn't matter if it's a yes or a no. Okay, so we were talking to a girl, and you know, we were having a Zoom, and she, you know, she had a few exposures, like she just loved it, loved the community, loved the people. I was like, cool, great, you know, just so I know, just so we're on the same page, what is it, you know, is there anything else that you need to know to make that really excited decision to join us today? That's a very key word, today. Because, like, if it's a year away, like, okay, let's, you know, that's fine. But, like, today, we're talking today. Oh, okay. So then she's got some questions. Great. We go through the questions. We answer the questions. She's like, oh, you've answered all my questions. This is great. Cool. What else do you need to know to make an excited decision to join me today? To join the team today? Oh, well, no, nothing. Like, you've answered all my questions. But there was still something there that was, you know, she wasn't just jumping right in. So we've got to be able to convey our, like, message. Like, we need to be able to frame people and guide people. What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? So it came up that she had a bit of, you know, like just a bit of uncertainty that, no, not even uncertainty. We discovered that she had a pattern of having a split energy a lot of times over a lot of decisions. So she wanted to do something, but then there was this other energy that was just like, no. So she had this split energy around making the decision. So as soon as that we realized that, I was like, cool, like, how long have you overthought for? How long have you been an overthinker for? And she's like, oh my God, all my life. Cool, like, let's change that. Do you want to do it today? And she's like, yeah, let's do that. You know, it's just like, if I, you know, we could have like, you know, pulled away and she would have gone on her way, and, you know, who knows, like the back and forth that people go through around these kinds of things. We need to help them feel really certain and go, you know, like, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter. You can't fail. Like, we're here. We got you. We do this together. There's no pressure. Just say yes. Like, let's just do this. Let's do it today. You know? So is that helpful? Like, I don't even know if I just totally digressed then, but.
No, that was great. That was great. Sensational.
Yeah, like try to get them to the point where they're not leaving without that yes or no. Like, okay, cool. What exactly do you need to know? Because that way you can go and then ask that question. Like, is this something, you know, is this something that you do often around these? Like, where else is this showing up in your life? I've got a girl playing with my hair now. I'm over time.
That's outstanding. So I guess usually we ask the billboard question, and I'm curious.
Yeah.
You answered it last time. I'm wondering, what has it changed?
The billboard.
Yeah, the billboard question. If you had
like, no.
Still your face.
Yep. There
you go.
No, only because I hadn't thought about it. But I mean, if I was going to get one shot of having like my mug on a billboard, I'd take it.
We know what to get you for Christmas then. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for showing up. It's an amazing, amazing call. It got real and raw. And thank you, Jess, so much. We're going to have you on again, and we'll see if we can like alienate more people with the title next time.
Yeah, maybe we just need to think about that. But oh well.
I don't have a filter. It's Christine's fault.
Christine didn't approve it.
I know. All right.